What's up guys, it's Michael here. In this video, we are going to talk about why you should sell your house in post-pandemic. So in my previous video, I talked about why you should not come in and buy a house unless you have a lot of spare income coming in. And looking at how different groups, especially the millennial generation, how are they being shut off from the current housing market and the current housing prices. So we're gonna look at if you have a spare home or you're willing to have patience, why you should attempt to sell your house, because the housing market now is really hot. So here, I'm gonna break down several steps why you should sell your home if you have more than one, or if you're willing to be very patient and take the risk in renting maybe for a few years down the line until the mortgage rates. So first, we're gonna look at why the housing market is extremely high, because it's artificially inflated in my opinion, because thanks to pandemic and also really low interest rates. And why is that the case? So you look at it now, in areas, really high-end areas, their housing market was always really scarce in the first place. So now thanks to pandemic is even more scarce, to the point that people's like, hey, maybe it's a good time to buy in. But when I do buy in, you got a lot of competing offers, and more competition means less housing supplies in the market, then the prices will skyrocket. So if you're a homeowner, could you take advantage of this? Yes, you can. Meaning, if you own more than one home, and let's say the other house you have is like a rental property, maybe you guys don't really use it as much, why not? Like, you look up offers online and you set it up higher and you have people come in and compete for it, because people are gonna try to lowball you for an offer. But you put it up and see what do they evaluate your home in. If you do that, you have a really good opportunity to take that extra revenue coming in if they do sell it, and you invest in something else like stocks, crypto, bonds, anything else. You don't have to be in the real estate market during this time. So you can also capitalize on this advantage. If you miss out on this opportunity, it's okay too. Because as I mentioned before, it's usually about every 10 years or so, it's usually a major event like this will happen. So why you should sell? So here's a couple complications. A couple complications is, first, we're gonna look at the benefits. The benefits, if you sell now, it's gonna be really easy for you to put a house in the market compared to before the pandemic, and to get offers coming in right away. That's a great thing. And when offers come in, you have people competing. So another good part is you gotta get really good deals, meaning whatever you put in, might have people like are willing to pay out more than you asked for. So you basically put out, like, let's say a home in like California for $1 million. A couple people come in to try to flip the house, to try to lowball you, put like 800K, 900K. But you have people who are willing to come in and pay more than what you basically initially offer. 1.1 million, 1.2 million, and that's a great thing. And another good thing is, if you sell your house, this is basically, you take all that extra revenue. If you are an investor and you know how to manage your money way more proficiently than majority of the population, then you realize, like, hey, all that extra revenue, I don't have to buy back in. Yes, you still have to pay tax. You can't do a W-2 exchange because buying into another housing market right now is really difficult. But hey, you can take all that other revenue, invest it in stocks, cryptocurrency, and any other type of liquidized investments. You can always do that. You don't have to go back to the real estate market because it's so hot thanks to the mortgage rates low, and a lot of people are now really afraid to sell their house at the same time because they don't think they can buy back in. So basically, the benefit is there, but it's not super appealing because one thing has to give in the other part. So there's always a good piece of it and there's always a bad side of it. So now we're going to look at the cons of currently trying to sell your house. So if you have basically only one home, or you don't have more than one home for investments, then you're out of luck. Then basically you could sell it, but you have to rent. And a rent, it could be good and bad. So the good side of it, if you are willing to become a really patient person and spend the extra time just to basically rent, because if you can rent a house and you sell it right now, you are looking for a good couple years of renting. And so people don't understand that when someone lives in a house and they live in, like, they go rent, like, you either rent a house, rent an apartment, you rent a condo, you rent other places, it's really different from owning a home. Owning a home is definitely way more expensive than renting, but it comes in the benefits too, which is increased privacy. Whatever you do, you damage the place, a house, you can live how you want. You can technically do whatever you want with the house, and you won't get in trouble with it compared to renting. Renting, you gotta apply all these rules and regulations. It is cheaper majority of the time, But you cannot, if you have something that happens, you would maybe like, get angry, punch a hole in the wall, or basically spill on the carpet, you damage the carpet, you have pets and animals, damage the building, then you have to pay for it. But if you don't have any of those problems and you're willing to, suffer the consequences when you have only like one house and you sell it because you take that extra revenue and you put it in to invest, then if you have the patience to do it, then do it. Why not? You just basically wait for the housing market. Right now it's still shooting up. Once the mortgage rates go back up, and now it's rock bottom low right now, then people will back off. When people back off, the houses prices will drop again. That's how it works. It happens every 10 years. You look at back in 2008, you look at the dot-com bubble burst, it fluctuates. In whatever industry, it will fluctuate. So if that is the case, why not? Just rent a place. If you have the patience, wait for a few years, rent a place up to maybe 2025 at most. Rent a place when the housing market comes back down. All your investments will shoot back up, like stocks, crypto, because how stock market works in most companies and index funds, it usually goes up. That's a trend, because you basically invest how you look at the history at the past of how it's doing. So if that's the case, you're willing to make that sacrifice, then it's great. I will totally personally, honestly think it was a great idea if you're willing to put up with that pain of owning a home and becoming a renter. And you look at another con. As I mentioned before, you will lose your privacy. Meaning is when you rent a place, you will have to rent and you will have to see other people. I get it, like other people like it that when you go to your own house, you want to be alone, you want to have like time to rest. But if your mindset's not there, that's another con. If you're gonna move from basically owning a home to renting a place. And that's another con too. Another con is when you rent a place, it's pretty difficult when you cannot, like, your privacy is a major factor in one of them, because a lot of people have different preferences. And when you meet with different people, you notice some people really don't like renting a place and some people are have better experience. But at the end, what type of decision are you willing to make? Are you trying to make it for a financial decision? Or are you trying to make it, you don't care about a financial decision, you just want to live your life comfortably? At the end, it'll be based on what you want to do. And right now, the housing market, it's not going to sustain like this forever. Eventually, it'll have a dip. And that dip happens, whether you take advantage of it or not is based on what you want to do at the end. And what you guys can do, if you want to see more videos like this, click the like button down below and hit the subscribe notification and the bell notification icon so YouTube will notify you when I upload another video. I'll see you guys next time on my channel. Peace.